Hey friends, welcome to the School of Hard Knocks with Darcie, a place where we become unstuck from trauma and grounded in our healing. I'm your host, Darcie, and I'm a proud multi-graduate of the School of Hard Knocks. Life has a way of teaching us lessons we never asked for, but here we take those lessons and turn them into healing, strength, and self-leadership. I'm so glad you're here. Let's dive in.
Just a quick reminder. This podcast shares personal stories and lived experiences. It's not therapy. It's not counseling or legal advice. If you need professional help, please reach out to a licensed provider.
Welcome back to the School of Hard Knocks. Class is in session. I am Darcie, your host. Let's jump right in. Have you been using a couple of the tools that maybe you've read in books or learned here at the School of Hard Knocks, and you started to really get a grasp of it, and you thought, I'm not even going to put myself in any type of situation where maybe I can be pushed into having to use a tool because I'm just working on team me right now. So I'm going to do all of the healthy things that need to be done in order to not even get myself to the point of where I have to open the toolbox. So that's where I'm at now, obviously, because I've created the tools. So I've been using the tools, right? As you can see, maybe a smidge, Milo is with me in the office today. And Milo was with me in the office today because of a commitment that I had made for Eric and I yesterday through tomorrow for our daughter. Our daughter wanted to go with her boyfriend and their 3 kids to a water park south from us to celebrate her boyfriend's birthday and to get away for some other reasons. And she had asked if we would watch her dog, Maya. And Maya's a great dog. She's a husky. She's very full energy, but she's a really, really great dog. And she gets along with our pack very well. However, as many of you may know, and if you don't, Milo and Grit had a disagreement like almost 2 years ago. And we've taken a long time to reintroduce them in the house to get them living, in like unison together inside of our house. And it took a lot of work and a lot of different things that we had to go through in order to make that happen. And Milo has been home. He lived with my mom for about 2 months, but he's been home now for, I don't even know, a year and a half probably. And we've had a handful of incidences. We've worked really hard for this. And Maya has been here a couple of times since this integration has happened, and everything has always been really great and really fine. But when my daughter asked me this, I kind of paused and I thought, is that something that I'm really willing to try right now? Because what if something happens? What if the boys look at Maya the same way that they look at a toy? And it's this competition thing of who gets to spend the most time with her and who's her friend type of situation, I picture it like kids on the playground, like she's my best friend, no, she's my best friend type of situation, right? Grace, our hound dog, she's out. She wants no part of this. So I pondered it for a little while, and she's my daughter, and she does have a little bit of a way of still touching a guilt dial inside of me, is what I fear that it is. By wanting her to experience things and still be able to enjoy life even after having children. Because as most of us know, a lot of people don't always have a really great support system where they get like weekly date nights and, quarterly trips. And maybe that happened in the old days, but now everybody has to work really hard to even get their own time off, right? So I thought about it and I pondered it and I thought, okay, let's try it. What's the worst that could happen? I had encouraged that she had brought Maya over a little bit before actually leaving her here for 2 days, because unfortunately it's been too long since we've all been able to sit down collectively together, and it just didn't work out that way. So she drops Maya off yesterday, and within the first 3 hours there was a little bit of regret that was starting to settle in. My Grit and Maya could not relax. I mean, pupils dilated, overly stimulated, running through the house like they're training for a greyhound race. I mean, it has just been 11 o'clock yesterday morning all the way through the night. Maya had a hard time finding a place to sleep in the bedroom. Every time she got up to move, Grit just assumed it was playtime, even if it's 2 o'clock in the morning. We're constantly trying to calm them down so we can sleep. I have a really busy work day today with interviewing people on the podcast, and I had 2 NLP sessions early this morning. And I just was like, whoo, 3 hours in and we're still going. And then it's like 8 hours in and then we're trying to go to sleep. And now we're waking up this morning. And I fear that we're finding a lot of the same situation. However, there was an incident where Milo may just be very well sick and tired of Grit's prancing around here, constantly barking, constantly whining because he wants to play with Maya all the time. And Maya's trying to lay down. I mean, it's really been something. And they had a little bit of a growling happen. So now Milo's with me. And as I'm sitting here pondering it as I'm taking a shower, the shower seems to be like my ponder place. There's no sound except for the water running at any temperature that I want. And there's a lot of deep breathing that happens in the shower, but it's like my ponder place. And I'm pondering, I mean, nothing has gotten really out of control on my side. Eric is very quick to anger, and he is not happy about this happening at all. Like he is very been now pushed to the point of, we're over 24 hours in and 3 to 4 hours of sleep with constant barking, chasing, running. Mind you, a simple answer would be let him play outside. We are getting about 1/4 of an inch to 1/2 of an inch of ice right now. And it did start already last night with rain, snow, slush switched over. So it's not as easy as just letting them be outside in the cold, in the slop, and bringing them in the house. And then it's all over in the house. We've tried different things, like we have hemp calming treats. Grit would definitely be the king of a frat if he was in college, because nothing takes him out when he's stimulated. He is just on, and that's just what it is. So I'm in my ponder place in the shower, and I'm thinking to myself, okay, I know that I have stayed controlled. I've gotten heated a little bit last night, and Grit did get yelled at and scolded, and he was able to calm himself at that time because of that. But for the most part, I've just been, let him just play. I'm trying to get Eric to understand the dogs are kind of like children. So this is like if our granddaughters are here, one of them is 5, one of them is 1. So let's picture now that they're like 8 and 4, and they're running and they're playing and they're having such a good time. We're not going to keep telling them, sit down, be quiet. That's enough. That, you know what I mean? Like, I know what Grit and Maya are doing is they're having fun. And I think that that's great, but we need to all catch a breath, and the dogs are out of breath. And then Maya's getting all uppity, and in any case, you get the gist. It's kind of been a shit show. Okay. To be so honest. And I thought, I've been able to compose myself, and I thought, take yourself back, Darcie, to this is why when you were considering it, and my daughter was kind of like, well, Mom, it's just the dog and they get along. And, again, I'm not saying this to be the, oh, woe is me, but I'm not even a half of a year into the trauma that I've gone through with losing my dad. So the way that things are working in my world right now are still very rocky, still very on the crazy ocean in a ship, if you will. And the waves are still highly kind of swooping me. It's not even been 6 months of a very big change in my life. And while I'm working on myself to be the best person that I can potentially be during this time, right? So I thought, that's why you were pondering it. You should have just said no. Okay, well, here's the first thing. Shoulda, coulda, woulda, it's all over and done with. We don't have a reset. We don't have a rewind. We don't have a redo. So what am I going to do? I'm going to reset this moment that I'm currently in of allowing myself to go down this rabbit hole of This is why you should just say no. Okay, it doesn't matter now. How is that helping our situation? Unfortunately, it's not. So what I've decided is, looking back over the last 24 hours of some pretty crazy, like anxiety-ridden moments between the dogs and trying to separate and all of this stuff, how I've been able to compose myself while still trying to compose Eric at the same time kind of let me see that allowing things like this into my life for me. Now, I'm not, you know, that we always say this is not medical advice. You don't have to do what it is that I'm doing. I'm simply telling you what I do and what has been working for me. Okay, so I just want to say that. But sometimes what I've learned now from the situation is putting myself into a situation where, you know, maybe the outcome isn't exactly what I was hoping for it to be. It allows me to be able to sharpen those tools, allows me to put the rubber to the road, if you will. So I work on these tools on how to navigate through situations, regardless if they're ones that I put myself in or ones that I've been put in, so that I'm able to regulate my emotional state and what it is that I have going on with me in that situation. So to me, it's almost like a challenge. You know, I went ahead and I told Eric, at this point, we've been doing this now for over 24 hours. They are still acting literally like it's the first 2 hours that she was here. Just crazy. I almost feel like Maya may be like setting pheromones off even though she's fixed, because it's that kind of like thing. But we separated. You know, Grit came upstairs and laid on our bed, and I'm pretty sure he slept for about an hour. Maya fell asleep right away on the sofa. Milo is with me now because now Grit's back downstairs. And although I have heard a little bit of ruckus, it is definitely not what we were looking before and what we were looking at before. So sometimes we need to reset ourselves. You know, when you're in a situation, when you are regretting something, possibly, I'm not going to say that I totally regret this, but I should have planned it a little bit more accordingly and maybe not have work to do today, because now it's like Eric alone with 3 of the 4 dogs while I'm recording and doing interviews and NLP and working. But it's kind of refreshing to see none of this has stopped. You know, I didn't have to pause anything or cancel anything or show up late to anything. In fact, I showed up an hour early to my first NLP appointment this morning because I was like up early and so many things were happening. And I was like, oh my gosh, I'm late. I was actually early. But it's showing me how I really have learned how to apply these tools to real life in the moment moments. You know, I have tools, so when we show up to this place, if this person says this is how it can handle it. I did not see this coming. I kind of figured it was going to be like, woo, for like 3 hours. They were going to tuck her out. I even told Eric, I said, babe, we got this. If we can just hold on until like after dinner time even, they're going to be out. No, I did not see this happening. We're all exhausted. It's a lot of energy. One of my friends today said, maybe it would have been easier to just take the grandkids. Just kidding. I said, no, it probably would have been, because it's a lot easier to distract our Tinkerbell with, honey, grandma's taking out 5 or 6 different activities. She's 5. So if you know, you know. Let's sit down and maybe watch a movie together. Let's get like some cheese and crackers or some strawberries, and let's sit down and watch a movie. And then she'll sit down and I'll kind of rub her back and she gets all chilled and relaxed. You know, that is not what's happening over here. And instead it has to be just pivoting, you know, letting them outside for a little bit, coming back inside. Nobody's talking to anybody. Eric and I are not even making like eye contact with the dog. We're having conversation with just ourselves. My brother came over yesterday at 1:30 in the afternoon. Mind you, Maya had been dropped off here at 11. So 11 to 12, 12 to 1. That's only 2.5 hours later. And I was already like, oh my gosh, this is like not normally how this goes. And then the weather's inclement like that, so we can't just let them outside to play in the yard. My brother came over to hang out for a little while, and I was playing relaxing dog music. He's like, oh, relaxing dog music. Yeah, because that's kind of the stage that we're at right now. But again, you can see I was trying different things, right? I was trying different things, even keeping Grit upstairs for an hour today. I told Eric, let's take this break for an hour. They both need to rest because it has been too much. So keep him up there because now I'm going to go work. Keep him in our bedroom, he's got the TV on, he's got the fan, he's got our whole bed, but he's got his bed that's almost like a little sofa. It is a big, believe me, this dog is not missing anything, okay? But keep him up there for at least an hour and longer until he barks. Until he's like, hey, did you guys forget? Or I am chill now. If he stays up here for 2 hours because he wanted to sleep after he finally regulated his system, we literally had to re-regulate 2 furry, 4-legged babies' systems as humans that are learning how to re-regulate our own. That's why it's so important to have tools, because sometimes you commit to something and then out of left field, something completely different happens. Sometimes you're not even committed to something, but you're somewhere and something happens and you're like, whoa, got to pull the toolbox out. But what do you do in those moments if you're somebody who doesn't have a toolbox? If I wouldn't have had a toolbox, what am I doing? Our daughter is like 3.5 hours away from us with 3 children in an ice storm today. This isn't like they went out for lunch and I was like, hey, you're going to have to come back a little bit sooner on this beautiful blue day and drive safely. There's nothing that can be done about it. Am I supposed to call somebody else that's never been with Maya and have her go to a stranger's house? Maya likes it here. She's comfortable here. This is why having tools for every situation, regardless if you're in the situation willingly or you're in the situation unwillingly, utilizing tools like that, and then being able to try different things. Like for me, that one of the tools is music. I put on Dog Call Me music, and it actually did work for, 8 minutes probably. Before it was like, they're tricking us. It was just like, holy smokes, you guys. So you guys are hearing this on Good Friday evening. I hope that your Good Friday today has been wonderful. I hope that you have pondered the true meaning of today. I hope that the Lord has blessed you. I hope that you realize that today is such a big day for us, with Jesus Christ sacrificing himself for our sins on the cross. What a humbling, beautiful thing to have somebody do for a people like us that are so sinful, right? And hopefully today you caught the podcast episode from my pastor. What a wonderful, incredible man with such a incredible story to tell. Make sure you check out Pastor Yao Yang's episode here with our special highlighted bonus episode that you guys are getting. This is a bonus episode, 2 of them because of Good Friday. And then we have Sunday, and Sunday, of course, is one of the best days besides Christmas. If there wasn't Christmas, we couldn't have Easter. So it's just such a wonderful day. I hope and pray that your day becomes, grounded in what the meaning of today really is, and, enjoy the ham and the chocolate and the Easter baskets and all the goodies. But really remember for the reason of why today is so special, and make sure you have your toolbox. Comment below. Let me know. Have you been in a situation, armed or unarmed? And how did you handle that situation? What was the tool you used? Or are you ready to put your armor on and use those tools that we, in particular, are helping you learn here at the School of Hard Knocks? I hope you guys have such a phenomenal, wonderful, beautiful Easter weekend. I'll see you guys on the next episode. I'd like to thank you for sharing your time with me today. And I'm so proud of you for stepping into your healing journey. Please share this with every single person that you know. I'm here to make the biggest impact possible, and I can only do that with you by my side. I hope you hit that follow button and you save me to your library so you never miss an episode.
We just took another break out of your wall, and remember, with God, healing is always possible. I look forward to seeing you on the next episode.